Let me introduce you to the newest project for the channel. This 1991 Dodge W250 is in near mint condition and we're about to completely tear it apart. We're literally taking every nut and bolt off of this truck and taking it down to the bare frame. The teardown process can be satisfying but daunting. In a separate video to come, I will explain in detail how to make this process organized so every part is accounted for. This factory sound deadener is really good already. It's in great shape, just needs to be cleaned up, and really you can't get stuff that's as good as this factory stuff, so I think we're gonna reuse this unless we can find something better. For most of the videos in this series, I'll be filming the main video in addition to another more detailed video for those who want more specific information. When I tear a project down like this, I always start with what I call the low-hanging fruit. I want to tear out the stuff that's easy, that's kind of satisfying to take out, and that's kind of big and makes you feel like you're making progress on the project. So we've torn the seat out, we've torn the carpet out, the sound deadener, a bunch of the interior trim. That was super easy to do. And it makes you feel like we're about halfway done, even though we're not. So I've got all the interior trim out. I'm trying to pull the dash out now. One thing to note, when you're dealing with an old project like this, anything that's plastic, you need to be super careful with it. The sun dries the plastic out and it becomes very brittle. If it's not already cracked, it probably is going to crack very easily. So be very gentle as you pull out some of the plastic pieces. So I'm almost ready to pull the headliner. Just got to take the sun visors off. The headliner on this truck is super cool. So let me pull it and I'll show you. Woo! So here's a closer look at the headliner. You'll notice it is covered in military patches. Really cool, and that leads me into why are we tearing this truck down and whose truck is this? To answer that question, let me introduce you to my good friend Joker, the owner of this truck. I'll keep working on tearing this thing down while we get to know Joker a little bit better.
Tim, thanks for having me on. I want to say I'm a big fan of your show. The reason people call me Joker is because I tell bad jokes in the Air Force. Joker's a call sign, kind of like what you would see in Top Gun, his Maverick call sign, right. Same kind of thing. I just tell bad jokes, so all my buddies call me Joker. So they love having you around for the bad jokes. That's right.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your truck.
Well, the truck's a 1991 Dodge W250. I've loved these first-gen Dodges ever since I was a kid. Growing up, I went to a boarding school in Texas, and I was part of the 4-H club there. And they had this beautiful 1991 Dodge W250, white, gray with the red stripe, just like mine. And I fell in love with it back when I was a kid at this boarding school. And somewhere down the line, I came across one that looked exactly like it, and I bought it out of a guy out in Oregon. I've had it since about 2019. And that's kind of the backstory of where I found the truck and why I like them. It's just the sound, the styling of it, just beautiful trucks.
Yep, totally agree. I don't know if there's anything more satisfying than tearing a truck apart like this. So one thing you'll see me do as I'm tearing apart a project like this, I take a ton of pictures from different angles of the same stuff, and I've done this to quite a few trucks now, and these pictures have saved me multiple times. So get your phone out, take as many pictures as you can. You really can't take too many. So some of this stuff we're not even going to reuse, but I'm still very careful with taking it out. These we're not going to reuse, this we're not going to reuse, the gauge cluster we're not going to reuse, but they're all in really good shape. So I don't want to crack or break anything, so I'm still taking my time as I go. Remember, to completely and more easily remove the dash, it helps to get the windshield out of the way. Let's do that now. Be careful here. These windshields are hard to come by, and if you have one in good condition, you want to make sure you don't damage it. All right, we have the dash completely disconnected. I pulled the windshield and got the bolts off up here. I don't think I'm missing any bolts, but that tends to happen. Let's see about getting this out. So Joker, what is it you do in the military?
My job is unique. I fly unmanned aircraft, or the MQ-9 Reaper. They are a lot bigger than people realize. These unmanned aircraft are the size of fighter aircraft. And they carry bombs and missiles, and we fly these unmanned aircraft halfway around the world. So we're stationed here in Las Vegas or South Dakota, and then we're controlling aircraft that are in the European theater, the Pacific theater, Iraq, Syria, and other places around the world 24/7.
All remotely?
All remotely. And
Wow.
So I've been doing the remotely piloted aircraft job since about 2009. I've gotten over 5,000 hours and supported close air support over the years, doing various missions. So it's a very unique job.
Yeah, I'll say. All right, the interior harness is completely out. Now that the interior's gutted out, it's time to get the hood and the fenders off. So yeah, Joker, he's a pilot in the Air Force of the unmanned aircraft, which is kind of crazy. So my dad's a retired Air Force pilot as well, so kind of struck a chord there. And then I had him explain to me what his goals were for the build. It was something that I wanted to do. He had some really cool ideas. He was willing to let me throw some of my ideas in there as well. So this build is going to be a compilation of some of the coolest ideas and products that I've wanted to install on one of these trucks, and I'm finally doing it. So it should be really, really cool. Yes, my driveway is a mess, but that is mostly because I was prepping for the thumbnail picture for this video that you're currently watching. So the passenger fender's ready to pull off, but unfortunately the bumper is pushed into it, so I can't pull it off yet. And some of you may have noticed that the grille was all banged up and the bumper's dented. Besides that, this truck is incredibly clean, but let me have Joker tell you about how this happened right here.
While I was at training, I was on the highway to go pick up my wife at the airport. She'd come into town to visit me for a couple days. And sadly, this Tesla cut me off, almost sideswiped another vehicle, and then slammed on its brakes, and I couldn't do anything but just stop straight ahead. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to stop in time and collided with the back of this Tesla car. Everybody was okay, which is good, but it just broke my heart that my beloved Dodge that I'd worked so hard to keep clean and restore a little bit was now crumpled in on the front end.
Oh, so it makes you want to throw up.
It does, and you know how hard these Dodge parts are to come by. So
especially the fresh OEM grille.
Yes, yes. So it broke my heart, but that moment just solidified the decision to move forward with what we're going to do with the truck, and that's going to be a full frame off restoration from the ground up.
So even though that was unfortunate to ruin the bumper, ruin the grill, it gave us more reason to tear this thing apart and rebuild it. Now, some of you guys are probably thinking, that truck is super clean to be tearing completely apart. And to some degree, you're right. But this is what we wanted to do with the truck, and it is going to be phenomenal when it's done. The engine bay wiring harness is completely undone and ready to come out, except for one connector right here to the windshield wiper motor, and I am struggling to get it out. See if a little pick will do it. Boom! The whole engine bay wiring harness completely out. I feel like I just caught a huge fish with how much work that was to get that one plug out.
Well, Tim, I know that there's a big first-gen community around the United States, and I've got a couple goals. The first is to be a powerful enough truck to where I can pull my 26-foot Featherlight trailer and a car up any hill in America and not slow down.
Okay.
I want the truck to be reliable. That's where I can have the confidence to drive all the way across country and not worry about it breaking down, and comfortable enough to where I don't ever want to buy a new truck. So use the design and mechanics of the first gen and just help replace and improve upon some of those things that all the first gen guys know about.
Right.
The plastics are not quite the highest quality. Some of the things that Dodge, if they knew what we know now, they would have made it better.
Right.
So as we go through this build, I want us to look at these different components and then share with the YouTube community what we've learned and give them a solution to where they can also take advantage of some of these problems that we'll fix along the way.
Right. Take a truck that's over 30 years old, but maybe apply some of the technology and advancements from today into the older components and make it kind of a hybrid.
Exactly.
Perfect. We've got the bed ready to come off. I undid everything underneath. All the wiring, anything that's connected to the bed is undone, got the bumper off. So let me get some help. Let's get the bed off and I'll show you how clean this truck really is. Let's show some love for Joker down in the comments. This truck build is going to be epic. Hence the name, the ultimate American truck build. So as Joker said, his goals for this truck are comfortable, reliable, and powerful. Next video, we're gonna start with comfort. We're gonna completely overhaul the front and rear suspension to make this thing ride like a dream. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. We'll see you guys in the next one.